Join me, John Randall, at the North American Banking Company Minnesota Golf Show, February 13th through the 15th. It's your chance to try out the newest clubs and equipment from the biggest names in golf. Improve your game with free lessons and clinics from PGA pros. And when you're done, relax at the 19th Hole Lounge with your favorite post-round beverage.
Tickets on sale now at mngolfshow.com. Save $3 with advanced purchase. Each ticket includes 14 free greens fee passes at area courses. Learn more at mngolfshow.com.
Here we go.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble podcast. My name is Chris Reavers. With me, as always, his name is Mike Fratelloni. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reavers?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I was out yesterday, but there's so much I want to talk about with you today.
It's overwhelming.
It really is. I was trying to. The thing is, and Joe hates it when I say this publicly, but when we close up shop on Friday afternoon, I do my damnedest to not read any news, look at any news. I just need a break.
Got it.
You got to unplug for a little bit.
You do.
And so with an additional day off that I had yesterday, I really didn't read any news.
You lost it all. All of your social intelligence went right away in 3 days.
So then when I get up in the morning to do the show prep and gather some things and then come in here, I'm always like, okay, is he going to ask me if I'm just trying to lay low?
Yeah, what stories?
Get Josh recorded and then get in here.
Oh my God, is it like when you were in school and they're like, Reavers, did you read chapter 2?
Yeah,
like,
100%. I don't want to be called on.
Okay,
yes,
got it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
it's the exact same thing, Michael.
Sounds stressful.
But this actually, tell me about it. But this actually surfaced right before we started the show today on Garage Logic, and I find it awfully interesting. This is from KSTP.com. 6 federal prosecutors, including Assistant U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson, resigned today amid mounting pressure to investigate the widow of Renee Good, the New York Times reports. The Department of Justice pressed for a criminal investigation into the actions of Renee Good's widow on the day that she was shot and killed by ICE agent Jonathan Ross, according to the report. Good's wife was seen on video engaging with Ross before the shooting, but none of her actions in the widely shared video appeared to be illegal. Harry Jacobs, Thomas Calhoun-Lopez, and Melinda Williams were also among those who resigned on Tuesday. According to the Times, Jacobs had been overseeing the U.S. Attorney's Office's investigation into fraud, and Calhoun-Lopez was the chief of the Violent and Major Crimes Unit, the Times reported. The prosecutors did not disclose the reasons for their resignations to the Times. Thompson made headlines as the top prosecutor of federal fraud cases in the state. He also served as the interim U.S. attorney for the District of Minnesota before President Trump appointed Daniel Rosen as the permanent for former U.S. Attorney Andrew Lugar. He also oversaw the bringing of charges in the shootings of the Hortmans and Hoffmans, Governor Walz said. Joe Thompson is a principled public servant who spent more than a decade achieving justice for Minnesotans. This is a huge loss for our state. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually agree with Governor Walz. This is the latest sign that President Trump is pushing nonpartisan career professionals out of the Department of Justice and replacing them with his psychopaths. Those are the words of Governor Tim Walz. Here's what I'd like to start with, and I want to get into a number of different angles with this story. Everyone needs to take a breath, and we really need to settle down. And I get it. I'm blaming both sides of the political aisle with this because Joe talked about this at length, and there's parts of it I agree with him and parts I question. And the parts that I agree with him are we could have handled this a bit better. And what I mean by we is the way that ICE kind of just took over, I think it could have been done a little bit more tact. But again, I'm not going to blame anybody because I don't know what's going on. I don't know how they're operating. But, if you're pulling over, for instance, yesterday, there was a man and his wife, and they told the agents, we're U.S. citizens. They still detained them.
Sure.
They still held them and questioned them for 8 hours, then finally released them. That's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look. In fact, I had lunch today with one of my friends who happens to be Indian.
Okay.
and he's carrying his passport around. And I said,
I don't blame him one bit.
I kind of said, why? Why? And he's like, Mike, they're pulling people of color over. And I said, well, I didn't know. I guess I knew that. I don't know how that interaction happens. I'd assume that ICE agents were going after known people who had orders of deportation, like that they were supposed to be deported. That's what I assumed was happening.
So I don't want to name the highway that I was driving on because I don't want to in any way incriminate myself.
Sure.
But I was driving to work. This was last week.
I think you told the story.
But I want to repeat it because it was clear I was in the right lane. Mm-hmm. I was behind another vehicle, and an ICE agent passed me on the left, then passed the vehicle in front of me on the left, then hit the brakes, and I went, uh-oh, and pulled in between the two, me and the car that was in front of me, and pulled over that vehicle. Mm-hmm. Were they doing we both were going mildly above the speed limit, but obviously he could see who I was.
Yeah, but they're not. Do you think they're just pulling over random people?
That's what I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm genuinely asking that. I don't know.
But either he ran.
I don't think that would be right.
But I don't know. Maybe he ran my plate and said, okay, there's no outstanding anything warrants, although outstanding good looks. There's no outstanding anything with this plate number, and maybe he did see something with that person's plate number. I have no idea. The point is, and we're sending another 2,500. The problem that we have with
we're sending more ICE agents into Minnesota.
2,500.
Yeah, I heard 1,000, but okay, so it's taking,
Johnny had 2,500.
Okay, I'm not
in his news
disputing
story.
that, but I didn't know. So it's going to be 4,500 ICE agents in this town. Seems like a lot of people.
And I guess I get that they have a job to do. And full disclosure, I've said this a million times. I'm the son of a retired law enforcement officer, so I'm a bit biased. But we continue to fuel both sides of the fire. When you've got situations like this, or the one that I alluded to a few minutes ago with the couple, the married couple they were legal citizens of this country, you're throwing red meat to the wolves. Sure. And that's not helpful. And I get anybody that's here illegally and is committing fraud, any other high level crime, you should not be here. Mm-hmm. That's my stance. And what I really don't like is this tenor of this anti-law enforcement crusade that so many people are on. That also is extremely dangerous because you're not allowing these men and women to do their job, number one, whether it's the federal level, the state level, the local level, whatever it is. Let them do their job. That's what they're here for. And that's the problem that I have. And so earlier, Joe had asked aloud, well, why are they trying to investigate the widow of this woman that sadly was shot by an ICE agent? And the only thing I could come up with is, and I got into an argument with Johnny about this off the air, and I had said, I don't believe that this woman, Renee Good, and her wife, I don't think that they were there by accident. They weren't just leaving Kowalski's and they just happened upon this scene. They were there specifically to be a pain in the butt. Now, does that mean she should have been shot and killed? Of course not.
No, but I think there is something deeper to it, and I don't think this is logical. But when you interfere with someone, so when the Becca Good, right? Yep. When she was interfering with ICE agents in the process of a crime, because they thought it was a crime that she was blocking the road, right? And a murder happened based on that. She was in the process of a crime, someone was murdered, she can be arrested for murder in the state of Minnesota. I'm not an attorney.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
Because she was in the middle of a crime. So let's say, for example, she's robbing a bank. Her and her friend are robbing a bank. And the police officers come in and shoot one of the bank robbers. She can be arrested for murder because the police killed the bank robber.
You're kidding.
No. That's a law in the state of Minnesota. Caveat. I barely went to law school. And when I say barely, I didn't go to law school at all.
Got it.
But if you're committing a crime and a murder happens, one of our listeners knows this better than I do, you can have that murder including the death by cop, right, or ICE agent, put onto you. So she could actually be investigated and arrested for the murder of her wife.
Well, and again, I'm going to say this 15 times so people hear me. I am not saying in any way that this woman should have been shot by an ICE agent. But I still, to this day, after watching the various videos, including the most recent one, that at least the most recent one I saw, if there's another one out there, I'm willing to watch it. The most recent one that Alpha News released, I believe Friday, where she's in her car. She is being told multiple times to get out of the car. And of course, she doesn't listen. And that whole interaction, we can dissect that as well. But she was told to get out of the vehicle.
Yes.
She does not get out of the vehicle. And it appears from that angle of that Alpha News video that she does, in fact, hit the ICE agent with her car. Now, we'll never know intent, what her intent was. Because
intent
sadly,
doesn't matter because we don't need to know her intent.
But my point is, I personally do not believe she was trying to leave the scene, and I'll tell you why. If she was trying to leave the scene, her spouse wasn't in the vehicle with her.
Sure.
Her spouse was outside of the vehicle. So that tells me, well, you're not trying to leave the scene.
I don't think she was trying to roll over an officer.
I'd like to think not either.
I mean, do you think... I think she was... This is just pure speculation. I think she was trying to get away much more than run over an officer. But her intent is... It's nice to talk about those in a hypothetical, but it really doesn't matter. The ICE officer didn't have to know her intent. No. He just had to feel like there was bodily harm. One thing
this officer, by the way, was involved in an altercation previously. Yeah, so there might be some PTSD with that as well.
One thing that I noticed is I'm watching this video, the same one you're referring to. It happened in a fraction of a second.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She wasn't thinking. He wasn't thinking. It was his response to it was instantaneous. And you heard kind of him go, oh, like he got hit. Yeah. And then, like, the moment he gets hit, shots are fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how is he holding his camera in one hand?
Well, he was wearing a body cam.
No, he was holding a cell phone.
I thought it was
camera.
A body cam.
Yeah, in the video, you see another person. He's walking around with his camera. And it is so... A police officer, I can't say his name, he asked me not to say his name, wrote in, sent me some messages on this, and he said he's totally saddened by this, right? He goes, the ICE agent who did it is incredibly saddened. He doesn't know that ICE agent, but he's like, I guarantee you he's feeling like he wants to die, right? He didn't want to do this. But he said if he put anyone in that scenario, any public officer, any civilian in that training scenario, 100 times of 100, that person would have been shot. He's like, it's not a question in my mind. You don't have time to think.
What's this person's intentions?
What's this person's intention? And it doesn't even matter for law. It doesn't matter what her intent was. It's what happened, right? Yeah. And I said, wow, that seems crazy. He's like, I just beg people to, and this is him saying, to calm down because this ICE agent didn't want to go out and say, I want to kill somebody. Well, that's not what he wanted to do. It happened, though.
Yeah, that's the part that's so frustrating, Mike, is because, I think for the most part, most of us are pretty much aligned. We want to raise kids. We want them to go to good schools. We want to earn a living. We want to have a good way of life, maybe watch the Vikings or whatever your hobby might be. And then for the most part, we want to be left alone. And I think that's the part that's gotten so lost on this. But there is a section of people who are dead set on causing havoc. That's not debatable. Sure. I mean, how many times have we seen that?
But they don't think they're causing havoc.
I know they don't. They think that they're part of the resistance.
You never know. They may be. You know what I don't like? I don't like federal agents in my town. I get that ICE has a job to do. I can't argue that. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't like, because why isn't it just the military? What would be the difference if it was the military, Reavers?
Right.
And all of a sudden, that makes me feel like that's not terribly American feeling.
Well, did you see Jesse's comments last week?
I did.
And
right?
I mean, he made a lot of salient points.
But I guess rough, by the way.
He does. Yeah. Well, he's 77.
So what? Shave and clean your face.
I guess the thing I would say to that, and I'm not saying I disagree with you. I think the frustration from so many people that are sick and tired of seeing what's happened to our state, fraud, chief among them, right? That they think, well, we're left here helpless because no one is doing anything on the state level. No one is doing anything on the local level. What are we supposed to do? Just sit here and continue to be robbed? Because, again, we have seen billions and billions of our money being stolen from us, and no one locally or at the state level was doing anything. I want to get back to Joe Thompson in a minute, though, okay? But first, let's talk about We Are Nuts. And We Are Nuts, MN.com. They were so nice, by the way, to send Joe a birthday present last week of his 2 favorite things.
You know what they didn't do? Send me a birthday present.
What in the hell?
Yeah, can you believe that? Aren't you wondering when my birthday is?
I saw it on the Frat Pack Facebook
today.
page.
You're not going to say happy birthday to me today?
Happy birthday,
See what
Michael.
I did?
I thought it was yesterday.
No, it was the 13th. It is the 13th. I waited till, for sure, as long as I could, and then I wanted to throw out there so you'd be so embarrassed.
Happy birthday,
and thanks, We Are Nuts. Nothing for me.
Joe got the tin, the kind you would order for clients during the holiday season of half cashews and half milk chocolate almonds, which
done.
Yeah, we pretty much polished off the milk chocolate almonds here in the office. But anyway, go to wearenutsmn.com and you can see all of the wonderful hand batch made snacks right here in the great state of Minnesota. But you can also go into all of your local Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden stores, Max Hardware, Lunds and Barley's, Kowalski's Markets, Cub Foods, Coburn's, Quick Trip, and John Haidt tells me County Market is now carrying the We Are Nuts brand. It's been a wonderful revelation here for all of us, and it's a wonderful family-run operation, and we're so happy to have them on board. So once again, check them out online at wearenutsmn.com and the Weekly Scramble. We will be right back. The main thing I wanted to bring up the Joe Thompson story is this, Michael. First of all, Governor Walz actually nailed it when he said this is a huge loss for this state. And the reason why it's a huge loss for this state, Governor Walz, is you and your administration did nothing to stop the fraud in this state.
So do you think Joe Thompson resigned because they were going to force him to try to prosecute Becca Good?
I think...
I don't know.
It might have been a couple of different things, and I obviously no way want to speak for Joe Thompson, but I can understand being frustrated with that. I can also understand being frustrated when you're being told the FBI will handle this investigation.
But I think this is different. If you read the first paragraph of that story you read, it said the prosecution of Becky Good or the wife.
You're right, yes.
So I think Joe might say, hey, we're not going to prosecute Becca Good.
But it's
Rebecca
one thing
Good.
to investigate someone. It's another to prosecute them.
Yeah, do you want to be known as the guy who investigates the partner of someone who was just shot in the face?
What if you again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, what if you happen upon information that's crucial to this investigation?
Yeah, but I think the information's pretty clear. Do you think she was committing a crime? Well, maybe she was parked in front of,
you know what? You know why I would be okay with her being investigated? What I would want to know is, what were you two doing there?
What does it matter?
Because I think that's a big piece of this. I really do.
Isn't it kind of clear they were trying to be part of the resistance?
But it was also I guess I shouldn't say reported. There were also rumors that this wasn't their first interaction with ICE.
But it's this one's a singular event. Doesn't matter what happened in all other times, right? This was a singular event.
You're right.
And it's
but like I said, lost in this, because I don't want to lose sight of the main reason why I think this is a huge story. This is him and 6 other people that were the ones finding out all this information. They're now gone. So we're basically starting over with this entire fraud. And Joe, sadly, had a really good point. Watch the fraud story just go away now. Because there isn't anybody else investigating this.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be Keith Ellison.
Yeah, but
it ain't going to be Walz.
Get new attorneys. New attorneys will come in.
But that's, I guess, my point, Mike.
They have to start all over.
Well, but here's, I guess, what I want to... You know the theory of nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop? Okay, it's the same thing. Nobody hates a bad teacher more than a good teacher.
Sure.
All right? So if we're going to be in a position where we're driving out the likes of this guy, who does an amazing job and who we critically need, well, we're not doing our jobs.
And not just him, a team.
Yes.
Like a handful of team. One thing about this fraud, and I saw this stat that I wanted to bring up to you because I find it really interesting. So we're unsure what the fraud level was in Minnesota. 1 billion.
It was a lot.
Some are saying 9 billion.
Yep.
Do you know what the nominal gross domestic product of Somalia is?
Oh my God, what?
Take a wild guess.
Don't tell me it's
an
fraud.
entire country. What is their GDP in Somalia? I'll help you. 12.94 billion. We've almost committed, if 9 billion is a real number, we've almost committed the exact same amount, or awfully damn close, of fraud as the entire GDP of Somalia.
Wow.
Think of that, Reavers. The average nominal GDP per person in Somalia is $763.
That's insane.
I mean, that's what a Somalian's making for their entire year. That's their gross domestic product of what they do as a consumer and worker in Somalia is $763. Minnesota, the United States is going to have infinitely more than $12 billion worth of fraud.
Oh, yeah.
But Minnesota alone might come awfully close to that number. I find that unbelievably perplexing.
Wow. And that's why I have such a hard time with Keith Ellison getting in front of a camera this morning and claiming and taking this victory lap about how he, and I believe also the state of Illinois, are suing the Trump administration over this immigration process, which that's fine to have that conversation. But Keith, as Joe nailed earlier, Keith's done more work in the last 48 hours to put together this lawsuit against Trump than he has in the previous 8 years to try anything to combat fraud in this state. It's a joke.
The world has jumped upside down because I think conservatives would say, we don't want the federal government rolling through our town, right? We don't want military presence in our town, right? I think vast majority of conservatives would say that, right? We don't want the national federal government to send troops into our town, right? I know ICE isn't troops, right? I understand the difference of that. But now conservatives are saying, hey, let's take all ICE here. Let's get everybody from ICE here. Let's get 4,500. That's weird. Why? And so, for example, with Maduro, right? A handful of months ago, people were saying, Trump, why aren't you doing anything about Maduro? My God, this guy's a maniac. People in Venezuela are starving to death. Why aren't you doing something? And then he does something, and they're like, how dare you go get Maduro?
Well, he's always going to be in I can't win position.
But even Republicans said, leave Maduro alone. It's none of our damn business. And now we're saying, oh, thank God you got Maduro. Like, how are we flip-flopping so much?
I don't know, but that is a major problem. A major problem.
Have you noticed, to interrupt you, have you noticed in town here the effects of people being afraid of ICE? Because I've started to notice it a lot now.
And I can tell why.
Why?
The number of restaurants that have decided to shut their doors.
The number of restaurants are closed. I'm a babe. I'm naive. I'm naive or stupid. I don't know. I didn't believe we had a bunch of people here illegally. I didn't get it, Reavers.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't know. I kind of thought it was maybe a 1 in 500. I'm making that number up. I didn't know. But when the local McDonald's that I go to isn't opening their dining room, they don't have a sign up that says no ICE. They're not doing that. But they're not opening up their dining room because they don't have the employees to come into work. Then I think, well, those people that I saw every day working, there's one particular man in that I see almost every day for years. Was he not legal to work here?
I wanted to bring an aspect of that up, and I don't want to seem like I'm being some cold-hearted bastard, because I'm really not. But to me, whether it's the restaurants, and we won't really, I don't want, I do want to go down that road. But does that mean then that everyone that was working there, so for instance, what you're telling me then is whether you're the Minneapolis public school system that shut their doors because people were scared to leave their homes. So is that, you're telling me all of those people then are here illegally, whether it's the students at the public schools, the employees at these restaurants, and there's other businesses that have followed suit as well. I don't want to just pick on the restaurants. So you're telling me that all these people are here illegally?
Or are they here on work visas or some kind of permitting or have some temporary status that they just don't want to get picked up?
But if you have the proper documentation, as your friend carries around his passport, then what do you have to worry about?
I don't know. I don't think I'd want military guys with a mask over their face pulling me over. This is really a conundrum for me, because when I hear ICE comes in, arrests a guy who murdered and raped a child, I want that guy gone. I want him put to death or whatever we have to do with him. Right? That I don't believe in the death penalty, actually, but I know what you mean. I want that guy to be taken out.
That guy should not be part of our society.
Yeah, but the guy that's working at my McDonald's, been there for years, and I don't know if he's legal or not. Am I just that naive? Am I that light-witted that I don't know if that maybe 1 in 30 is illegal? 1 in 50? Let me see what AI says as you pontificate.
Sure. Well, I guess the one thing I was going to say about that is, the one thing we've discovered is, with all the various fraud going on in the food fraud, the welfare fraud, the Medicaid fraud, the autism fraud, all of those things, whether it's this now with ICE, the one thing I really hold near and dear to my heart and can hang my hat on is the fact that, God bless the fact that we have no election fraud.
A quick search. I know, because we don't have election fraud.
None
right?
at all, especially in the state of Minnesota.
Okay. It wouldn't even matter if we had election fraud. Why would it matter? Unless the population of illegal voters,
I think you
is
are
bigger than
grossly
10%. Who's ever even come close to winning an election on the conservative side of Minnesota?
Do you know what you can do right now, today?
What's that?
You can vote in the November election.
How was that?
Early voting started on January 7th.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That seems early.
No, I almost said a
do we
naughty
even
word.
know who's running? I mean,
It does. Don't you get the texts all the time?
No.
It's every day, and I block every single one of them. So, by the way, if you're texting me about anything election related, I don't even care if it's somebody I might vote for. I'm blocking your number.
Okay, in Minnesota, estimates for the percentage of population who are unauthorized immigrants, they're not saying illegal immigrants, they're calling them unauthorized, vary, but it is around 1.4 to 2.2%, approximately 90 to 130,000 individuals.
I will only dispute that number because of the mass migration data that Pat Garofalo shared with us the last time he was a guest.
You think it's higher than that?
I do think it's higher than that.
Because that's, 2 in 100, right?
Yeah.
That's 1 in 50. 1 in 50 people approximately is not documented to work or not legal, right? And I don't, and that's according to Pew Research. I didn't know that. I just didn't. I guess I didn't look around and maybe I'm just this lily white a-hole that doesn't go to places that have illegal immigrants there. I don't know.
Right.
I just don't know. I see a lot of diversity in my life, but I've never questioned that. Right, I've never questioned, is that guy legal to be here? I would have just assumed all of them are, or everyone is.
Let's talk about Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. Also available at all of your Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores locations. It's a wonderful product, and it's made by our buddy Ben, a loyal Frat Pack member and garage logician. And it was his brainchild 12 years ago that he started, and it's 100% pure maple syrup. And it's the best that Minnesota has to offer, by the way. I made bacon with Masters Maples over the weekend. Oh, my goodness gracious. You know what I'm going to have to do again? Make more thick bacon with Masters Maple syrup.
To be fair, bacon is kind of the star of that show.
Yeah,
right?
but
You could have just made the bacon.
I'm not kidding.
But it's like you add Masters Maple, it's a totally different animal.
Rookie made it with the pure maple sugar from Masters Maples, which I think I should try that as well.
Good, yeah.
You guys have the maple sugar, right?
Yeah,
at the
we have it
stores?
all.
Yeah, you have
everything
it,
they have.
So it's wonderful stuff. And also, don't underestimate the sweet and savory seasonings and rubs. Those are also an absolute home run. But you can also look them up online at mastersmaples.com, and you too can taste the difference. The Weekly Scramble, we will be right back. Can we switch gears in our final segment? Because I have got to bring up this story, unless there was one more thing.
I have some interesting stats on Minnesota, right?
Go ahead.
Estimated 100,000 unauthorized population, right? Of those, 36%, so 36,000 of them come from Mexico, 7% from Guatemala, 7% from El Salvador, 6%, 6,000 people from Ecuador. Then, let me see, I'm trying to see Africa, 16,000 Africans are here illegally, 7,000 Asians, 10,000 Europeans, 11,000 South Americans, and 56,000 Mexico or Central America. 23,000 people have been here less than 5 years. Here's a number that I find really interesting, Reavers. Help me square this circle, okay? 23,000 people have been here less than 5 years. That's okay. 5 years is a long time, but it could be one day, right? But 43,000 of those 100,000 people, 43%, 43,000 have been here more than 20 years. If you can't argue that that's de facto citizenship, I don't know what you can argue.
But what's preventing you from just becoming a citizen?
Because you can't get it. You can't get the legal status. So you've been here 20 plus years, 43,000.
Being a productive member of society.
Being a guy working at a restaurant, a guy working at a car dealership, a family that has kids going to Roosevelt or Roseville or wherever. I mean, we as Minnesotans, as the federal government, allowed much of this to happen. We had the wall totally torn down. The border was wide open. We allowed people to come in, and half of our politicians were saying, come on in, come on in. We bear some responsibility to that, right? Mm-hmm. Is that not? So I'm thinking of a family that's been here for 20 years. Something doesn't feel great about that to me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I don't want that guy to go. His kid plays on your kid's baseball team.
Right. But again, status quo wasn't working. So something had to be done. But I agree.
I get it. I just, and that's enough. Maybe I'm just, now that I'm turning a little older, because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sorry,
buddy.
you don't have to say it again. But now that I'm turning a little older, maybe I'm just getting to be a softie. I don't know what it is. But something about people being here for 20 years. Do we want the federal government chasing them down? I don't know.
Can we turn to a different topic?
Yes.
It's not even really lighthearted because there's one thing in the world that I can't stand.
Puppy mills.
Puppy mills would, I'm sure.
Okay.
But it's guys that waste their talent and their opportunity.
Oh, somebody's getting arrested somewhere.
Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison is once again in legal trouble. Just 2 weeks after the end of the Vikings season, the 23-year-old was arrested Monday morning in Florida and is charged with misdemeanor trespassing. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says that Addison was arrested by Seminole Indian Police at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino at around 3:45 a.m. He was booked at around 7:30 a.m. and was released on $500 bond at about 2:40 p.m. local time. Further details about the incident weren't immediately available. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell had no comment when asked about the incident on Tuesday. He said, this is according to our guy Darren Doogie Wolfson, KOC is aware, but said it's too early to offer any comment on. Let's go through the laundry list, shall we?
Yeah, what did he do?
It's the latest off-field incident for the former first-round pick, who was also cited for driving 140 miles an hour on Interstate 94 back in 2023, although he did tell the police officer his dog was sick, so he had to run home.
Makes sense. Well, what if he has a nice duvet and the dog's barfing on it?
He also pleaded guilty to a DUI charge in 2024. That second charge led to a suspension for the first 3 games of this past calendar season. After a stellar rookie season in which he caught 70 passes for 110 yards, his production has dipped. Okay, that has more to do with the quarterback. While his talent is undeniable, his off-the-field antics may force the Vikings to consider moving on in the near future if they continue at all.
His 4th-year rookie contract that he's in this year, $13.73 million. He had a guaranteed signing bonus.
This next year,
fifth-year option. Yep. The team option for 2027 season will be 17.5 based on performance.
Here's what I'd like to tell young Jordan Addison. Dude. He is a talented really good player. You're a talented player. On any other team that didn't have a Justin Jefferson, you'd probably be the number one option. Yeah. And you would probably be set to make a whole boatload of money. No one in their right freaking mind is going to invest into a nut job like this.
Do we have a laugh track?
I'm going to tell you why.
Do you think some other team's not going to pick him up in a fraction of a second? Go ahead and tell me why, and then I'll tell you why they're going to pick him up.
The investment. You're missing the key part.
Yes.
Will he play? Of course he's going to play. No one is going to sink $30 million into a receiver, he's going to get suspended again because of this.
They will 100% do that. Do you remember a little man named Michael Vick? Michael Vick picked up dogs by their hind legs and smashed them against the ground.
Okay.
The world went nuts when they heard that about Michael Vick. But you know what Michael Vick was?
He did go to prison.
He did. But Michael Vick is what they call talented. So the NFL said, we don't give two shits that you were smashing dogs to the ground. You're a stud when you can play this game. So teams took him and he made a fortune playing football.
But keep this one thing in mind.
Yeah.
No one touched him. After he was released from prison, nobody signed that guy until Andy Reid said, I'll take him in as a backup.
Sure.
He was the only coach that did that.
But Jordan Addison just got no trespass from a Hard Rock hotel.
But it's not just that incident.
I get it.
It's the fact that this is incident number 4.
He was driving his Lamborghini at 140 miles per hour.
He's 23.
No one's going to care. That guy can catch balls thrown to him at 74 miles per hour. He can score every once in a while. He can run a 440.
But I think the thing, Mike, is
how long will he get suspended for a stupid? He's not. This is a misdemeanor.
It's not just because it's this incident. It's because this is the 4th incident. He's already been suspended. He will get another suspension from this.
Do you think so?
I'm absolutely.
Well, why? What did he actually do? Did it say what
that's
he
the thing.
did?
We don't know.
That's right.
So let's be careful because we don't know how serious it was. But if you're being charged with trespassing,
his bond was $500. But it can't be that.
But if you're being charged with trespassing at a hotel, I think we all could draw our own conclusion.
Have you never been drunk in a hotel? Have you never said, over my dead body, you'll drag me out of here?
So you think driving 140 miles an hour
in a Lamborghini
was for his dog?
No, I think it's a 20-year-old that we gave $17 million to, and he said, "You know what? I have a car that will do 200 miles per hour." Am I justifying his actions? Absolutely not. He's a complete and utter moron. But if we think for a second that the NFL gives two shits about his background, he's not killing people right now.
Right.
He's not beating on his wife. He's not raping children. He's not doing that stuff. Allegedly, we don't know any of that, right? He's spunky at a hotel, maybe. And they said, we're no trespassing him.
I think.
Do you think it's bigger than that? Do you think that story's bigger than that?
No, here's how I'll frame it. Mm-hmm. No matter what the league is, right? Baseball, football, hockey, basketball, there's what we call tolerance, right? The tolerance for your behavior gets increased by how good of a player you are.
And he's great.
And he is a good player.
Yeah.
I don't think he's great.
I mean, he's a very, very good.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
But because they can't trust you, I think he's played his last game for the Vikings.
That could be totally true because the Vikings might have to do something about it.
But I think what happens here is the fact that when you're not living up, like when they can't count on you, they're not going to pay you. If you're not, the biggest liability is unavailability.
How much? You are infinitely smarter than me on sports, Reavers. You are infinitely smarter. There's a gap in your logic here. No one cares. This is a misdemeanor, no trespassing in Florida. He got out on a $500 bond.
But it's not this. It's the track record.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what his track record
is.
is.
So you think this is the last time he'll be arrested?
No. This kid's a moron.
That's my point.
They won't give a crap. They'll sign a morality clause in his contract, and they'll say, "Hey, we're going to pay you $27 million a year, but if you get caught with a prostitute in the hotel room, we're taking $10 million off of it."
Best of luck to that team that gives this knucklehead $27 million.
Honest to God, he will be signed by someone in a heartbeat. I do know this, Reavers, and I don't know a lot, but I do know why pirates don't take showers when they walk the plank.
Mike, why don't pirates take showers when they walk the plank?
Because they'll wash up on the shore, Reavers. Reavers, it is my birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy.
I love you more than anybody. I'm 55. I can say that now. Don't know. I'm fully entering my menopause.
Nice.
Now, you are the best.
Thank you, Michael. You are too, and happy birthday, brother. Please do us a favor. Rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. It helps other people find the show. It helps us out as well, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. Thank you so very much for listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. We'll talk to you again next time. Until then, cheers.